Hey guys, it's Friction here with Tiger Tank 12, how you can call me, I don't really care, and welcome back to World of Tanks. This time we're not on the game, this time we're on the website because, brace yourself, the Waffenträger is coming back. You remember, if you have played World of Tanks the last year around the same time, they released a game mode which was called The Last Waffenträger. If you remember, if you've been playing World of Tanks for a while, you know that the Waffenträger is a legendary Tier 10 tank destroyer which had a 6-round auto loader or a 6-round clip with a 128mm gun with a turret that couldn't withstand anything, but that could really one-shot or one clip a mouse. So that tank is coming back in this mode, and this mode last year was actually quite a bit of fun. I played it, I streamed it, and I had a bit of a good time, but as always there's a catch. We'll get to that catch in a second. Let's at first take a look at what the event is all about, the new additions. We're going to talk about what is different from last year. Then we're going to talk about the rewards. And finally, we're going to talk about the big catch, which is always kind of the thing that happens with Wargaming events nowadays, where there's always like a little hook somewhere, where other than that, there are a lot of kids swimming, and these hooks are trying to catch these kids that are strapped with a lot of money. But either way, so the Waffenträger is now called the Blitzträger of E110. I'm not really sure if it was called the Blitzträger of E110 before, but it's not that important. There are going to be 3 maps. You're going to have the Murovanka, Siegfried Line, and Steppes. They're probably going to be reworked a little bit, I think, to fit the scenario. There's also going to be like places where you can fight the bots, since there's always like AI controlled bots on the maps. And it's a 7 versus 1 format, so there are going to be 7 Harrier tanks fighting versus the Engineer, or I'm not really sure, let me check real fast, because there are 2 factions. There's the Engineers and there is the Harriers. The Harriers are fighting against the Engineers. The Engineers are supposed to be some kind of German evil and masterminds that you fight. And obviously the main event is that there's one player controlling the Waffenträger of E100 or the Blitzträger of E110, and the other players control all the vehicles. And if you want to play the Waffenträger, you have to get a key. There's a key that you have to exchange, and that key will allow you to play the E110. It has quite a lot of powerful attributes, and the Harriers are kind of, obviously, they have the ability to take on the Waffenträger in numbers. So there are going to be 3 tanks this time around, not just the T55, I think. I remember last year, I think it was only the T55 that was going up against the Waffenträger, but I might be mistaken because the mode, I played the mode quite a bit. I've enjoyed it, but I didn't really pay too much attention to what kind of vehicle I was driving. This time around you have the Object 140, the Resistor. You can see the special abilities that you have. You have the Silver Bullet, which is standard for all the vehicles. You have a charge bonus, which will give you better dynamics. You're going to be faster. The Railgun, which is the standard ability that you have as well, because the gun you can see has this railgun system, which allows to speed up the projectile to be able to penetrate the shield that the E110 has. Then you have the Overload ability. That will allow you to pick up certain plasma that you need to level up, because there are going to be different stages. The thing is, you're at the early stage, you're going to be very vulnerable to the E110 because you are very low HP. The higher the stages you are, the more damage you do, the more HP you have, and the more dangerous you are to the E110, so keep that in mind. Then you have the Thunderbolt, which is the M48 pattern, and is supposed to be the sturdy and heavy kind of asset to your party. You also have the charge mode, you have the Silver Bullet. You actually had the Railgun on the Resistor, which is not on the M48, so it's a special ability in that case. You have the charge thing as well. You have the Siege mode, which increases the rate of fire, but it's mobile, but decreases the mobility, so you have to choose it wisely to not get caught out by the Waffle or the E110. And also you have the Overload mechanic. Moving on to the Foudre, which is the Batchat 25T. Very nice to see this tank coming in this crazy look. To be fair, I think these skins will come to the game after the event. Maybe we'll be able to get them, but we'll get to the rewards in due time. We have the Charged Silver Bullet Anti-Ballistic Dome, which grants you invulnerability to stun and damage, and you will be you'll be invincible for a short period of time. Obviously, your Batchat has the powerful gun, but it lacks basically survivability at all. So these are the three options, and I think this is going to give you a lot more flexibility in the game. I don't really remember if last year if they had three tanks as well. I might be mistaken. I just remembered the T-55, but either way, we move on. So the gameplay, if you haven't played it yet, is basically you play the Harriers, which is the squad right here, the team that goes up against the E100, or the Engineer, and the Engineer plays the Waffenträger by himself, and the Harrier squad plays it together in a 7-man team. The objective is to overload the generator on the map, and to also knock out the E110. The thing is, this is now new. I think I just read this because the overload the generators, I think it seems to me that this is going to be coming together with not just the fact that you have to knock out the E110, but also the other Halloween event where you drove, like you played that PvE mode where you had to destroy that big ass tank, and you had to collect all of these different energy sources, the plasma, to be able to overload the shield at the end, or to get to the next stage. So we'll have to see how that is, because the event hasn't been released yet. It's going to be released on September the 27th, and I'm going to be making a couple of videos on it. I'm going to be playing the mode quite a bit, and we're going to see how well it's going to be going. Let's move on to the Blitzträger of E100, because this thing now has some new additional abilities. So the gun gear, which is this round, which does quite a lot of damage, which is your standard ammo. You have the EMP arrow, which allows you to EMP a vehicle and make it like a lot slower, stun it like artillery. You have the EMP burst, which we have already seen the last year, which allows you to have a kind of a area of effect where people will get stunned and they cannot move, so it makes it easy to kill them. You have teleportation, which is brand new, which allows you to teleport your vehicle while the shield is deactivated, so you can get out of hairy situations, which is quite interesting. The thing is, we don't know how far this teleportation system goes, if it's just how far you can watch or look, or if you can actually teleport yourself to the other side of the map, which would be hilarious. But either way, I think that's a good addition, because especially at the later stages, when players gotten used to the Blitzträger of E110, the amount of players that you have, Zerg rushing at E110, it was very difficult to be able to take them all out, because they had 3 lives each. So you have to think about it. That's basically, a lot of HP. That's 21 lives for 7 players, and you're just the E110. Your ability to heal up is very limited in the E110. So yeah, keep that in mind. Now we're getting to the rewards. We're getting to the good stuff. The rewards. You have the Harriers tab and the Engineers tab. So if you play Harriers and Engineer, you can get both the rewards. And you can see that I think in total it's something along the lines of 20 rewards all over. So like there are inscriptions, there are decals, there are skins and camouflage patterns, there are crew members. And this is all very cool. I really like this idea that you can get these things. And also what you can get for the stages, for stage 10, 20, 30, and 40, is you can get 2,000 bonds for the Harriers, and I think you can also get 1,000, no, you can get, like in total you can get 3,000 bonds, which is really nice for this event, if you finish the Harriers and the Engineers. So you have to play quite a couple of rounds. I think that is pretty much the thing. So that's pretty cool. And now we're getting to the thing that is probably going to be a bit of a hook in this game. So as you might know, Wargaming has a bit of a shitfest going on with loot boxes in the World of Warships community. We have known loot boxes in World of Tanks for a while now, at least every single time when it's the Christmas period. The thing is, these loot boxes go away after the festive periods. We haven't seen loot boxes as drastic as they have in World of Warships. We have seen loot boxes last year around for the Harrier. So like there were loot boxes with premium tanks and for this exact game mode, and I've made a video about it, and I've talked about the issue that I have with the loot box system. Now the thing is, Wargaming doesn't want to jump into that big old fiasco again, so they have made gates. What are these gates? Let's go through these gates one by one, and we're going to talk about them real fast, and I'm going to talk about the hook that we have, because there is a very big hook, and you know, it's very important that you know that this is basically just a reskin of loot boxes. It's just been named a bit differently, and it's been separated a bit as well to not anger the community too much. But if you pay a little bit of attention to it and you think a bit about it, you will know that this is none other than a loot box system. So we're back at it once again. There's also an accommodating tier 8 premium tank that is coming new to this mode, and which you can get out of these boxes. So let's talk about it. So for completing event missions, as well as for defeating the rare Blitzträger of E220, which is the E110, but played by I think Wargaming staff, played by streamers, you will receive starters special keys for activating dimension gates. Through activating dimension gates, you will be able to get valuable loot, including collection items. You can earn the Harrier starters for completing event missions while playing in Harrier squad vehicles. These keys will allow you to activate the Harrier's gate. This is the Harrier's gate right here. There's a chance it will drop a unique Harrier collection item or a guaranteed price from the list below. You can get credits, personal reserves, Days of World of Tanks Premium, consumables, demounting kits, garage slots, all of that stuff. Sounds good because you can only get them, I think, by playing the Harrier vehicles. So you don't have to pay for that. You cannot buy them. That's all nice and dandy. By completing the Engineer's combat mission, you earn the Engineer's starters. These keys are used to activate the Engineer's gate. So these gates, I'm not really sure if these gates are dropped into your inventory or if these gates are just there. And if you have enough keys, you can open as many gates as you want. That, on the other hand, will allow you to buy keys, because we'll know that there's going to be the ability to buy keys to be able to play the Waffenträger, because you need those keys to play the Waffenträger, and you also might need those keys to open these gates. So the Engineer Gate. You can also get the Engineer starters upon completing certain progression milestones, as well as from special bundles in the premium shop, so they've already announced it. And if you're lucky, when activating the Engineer's Gate or the Harrier's Gate, upon activation, the Engineer's Gate will bring you a guaranteed item from the following list: gold, credits, Days of World of Tanks Premium, personal reserves, demounting kits, and crew books. So okay, doesn't sound too bad. But if the stars are aligned, you might get even a greater prize, including special custom looks and decals, not included in the event collections. Striking Harrier themed 3D style for the Object 140, Bat Chatillon 25T, and the M48 A5 patent, which is already what I talked about, because I think the skins look pretty cool. We'll have to see what they look like in the game. But the sweetest prizes are the impressive Tier 8 premium tanks, including the brand new Astron Rex 105mm. Apart from this Predator, you may receive a premium vehicle from the following list: the T-77, the M41D, the LT-432, the E-75TS, the ML-1951, CS-52 Liz, the IC-152K, the Lanston C, the Turtle MK1, the Centurion MK51, RAAC, and the T-26 E-FAR Super Pershing. So the vehicle gate. Last but not least, there's also a special vehicle gate that requires an Engineer starters to activate. So the thing is, we have 3 different gates, right? This Engineer Gate has also the ability to drop you the Astron Rex 105. This is basically the loot box coming back, because you can buy this. And there's a chance that you can get this tank and you can get Harrier themed 3D styles, and there's a chance you can get one of these tier 8 premium tanks if you don't own them. But then there's also the vehicle gate. You can receive a particular reward from it, the Astron 105mm, a brand new tier 8 premium American medium tank. So the vehicle gate is, I don't really know how we are going to get the vehicle gate. So let's take a look. To activate the vehicle gate and grab this intimidating hunter, you need to have 60 engineer starters. But if you get this tank from the engineer's gate before that, the vehicle gate will become inactive. So there is an ability to get this vehicle by buying 60 engineer starters. These engineer starters, as we already mentioned, you can buy in special bundles in the premium shop. And that's kind of a thing. So they want to give you the opportunity to buy this vehicle straight off the game by using the 60 engineers starters. The thing is now, how much is it going to be? This is another tier 8 medium premium tank. One more, like we have had 4 or 5 in the last 1 or 2 months. So the amount of premium tanks is adding up and adding up and adding up and adding up and everything. This engineer's gate is basically nothing other than a loot box. This is a loot box, they just renamed it, but everything else is completely identical to everything. I don't like the loot box system, I don't like loot boxes in World of Tanks, I'm still going to be against all of this. If I get this Astron 105, this Rex tank, I will only receive it by having played the game. I will not pay any money, I will not buy anything, I will only get it by unlocking the Engineer's Gate, or maybe having enough Engineer's Gate to unlock the Astron Rex 105mm. I can already assure you people that this is not going to be the case. This vehicle will probably not be easily achievable by just playing the game. I'm going to be playing this next week. I'm going to live stream some of it. I'm going to be making 1 or 2 videos on it, and I'm going to definitely have a review on the end of it, a verdict. And we're going to talk about this because this is the obvious hook that I mentioned very early on. Let's take a quick look at the new tier 8 premium medium tank. You can see it has a 105mm gun since it actually is in the name. It's going to be another hull down vehicle. We can already go to survivability and we'll see the armor layout. Turret armor is 220mm thick, and you can see it's rounded and everything, 100 on the side, 75 on the rear, 85 on the front, 70 on the side, 50 on the rear of the hull. You have 390 meters view range, 1300 HP, quite a fast turret traverse speed of 44 degrees per second. You have a big cupola on top, which is very interesting and important to me if I play against this vehicle, because we will be playing against this tank. If it has a cupola on top, which is an obvious weak spot, I think that's okay. I don't have a problem with that too much. I like the look of this tank. I think it looks really cool, but yeah, I don't really want to support any more of that bullshittery. So 190mm of penetration with a 105mm gun isn't too great, but since it's a tier 8 medium tank, dispersion is horrible, 0.43. So this thing is not going to hit anything. The reload time is, oh wait a minute, oh my god, it's an autoloader. I didn't know that. So oh my god, I did not notice that this was an autoloader. They didn't say anything about that. Shells in the magazine, 5 shells. It has 5 shells in the magazine. 5 shells. No way. That's a damage potential of 1500 HP in a single clip or a single magazine. Time for loading between the shots is quite long, 4 seconds, yes. But holy crap, that's 1500. The reload time is only 34 seconds for 5 shells. Okay, so we'll have to look into that a bit more, but I didn't know that this was an auto loading tank. So yeah. Obviously there was going to be a hook. I thought like the statistics weren't that great so far, so obviously they wouldn't put that in here somewhere. They wouldn't put that in here. Freaking scummy Wargaming. They put it in here. Like, if you just look into it and you look at what shells in the magazine, you see 5 shells, and if you do the math, you can see you do about 1,500 damage with a single magazine. It will take quite a bit of time, but still, that is absolutely, that's bonkers if you ask me. Also, mobility doesn't seem to be that bad. So, yeah, looks like one more premium tank that has just completely destroyed whatever. Only 3 crew members. We're gonna talk about this another time, but what the fuck is this shit? My god, Wargaming, you just do not learn. I just thought it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look like an extremely powerful vehicle. It looks balanced. It looks like even it's not like maybe it's a bit worse. Then I looked at the firepower tab. Then I saw the shells in the magazine. Absolutely atrocious. So yeah, whatever. We're gonna see. We're gonna look at. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna play it on Monday, and I'm gonna tell you guys what it's all like. And hopefully, it's going to be balanced and it's going to be fun. So I see you guys in the next video. This was a bit of a long one. Hopefully you are still here. And either way, I see you on the next one. Until then, have a good time.